Hello and welcome to the first ever video, The Gold Advantage on the Best of 3 network. B&B in the bottom right there, for me at least. I don't know how the layout will be at some point, but he's
I'm
pumped.
usually on top.
He's excited. He was doing some
Usually
interesting movements a little bit beforehand. Didn't work out. We're here. I don't know.
First, second sex
here.
joke.
We did a fun little one yesterday on the Money Hill. We're taking this podcast to the next level. It's getting better and better. Eventually, it might be okay, but that's the goal.
Maybe at one point we'll actually have like visuals on our video.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe some motion graphics in the background. Who knows? Who knows what's possible?
Maybe
listen,
an opening scene with our logo. It fades away. We come in, all of us singing.
I would love some music.
I would love. I would love some music. One day, just us, like all making it happen.
Well, that along with me being sleeveless has been talked about on the Discord, so I decided I had to come with the stable hoodie, the one that started it all.
Absolutely.
This is where we started. I'm pretty small right now. I haven't been lifting too much. It's pretty disappointing stuff out of me. So listen, all I have to say for this intro is right here on this piece of paper.
Yeah.
T1,
unreal.
T1 has a unbelievable
if I could bet on Worlds now, I would.
I've been saying this. I've been saying this since they were 8-0. I would like to be very clear that not only that was going to happen, but that they're going to win the Worlds. So they look unbelievable. Nothing stopping them.
Scott, now that we're back on video, time for you to start working out.
Actually, for real.
It's a disappointment.
See this? I got a haircut. I'm looking fucking slick.
Yeah. You were looking slick last week. You're not wearing the glasses, though. I think the glasses really work.
I know.
Look pretty well on
camera. I was supposed to play some footy today, and had contacts in.
Buddy, you're washed, and you talk about esports now. Stuff. You can just drop the athletic act. You know,
that's it. We're done. That career is over.
I played soccer on Saturday, and I've been hurting for like 5 days straight. Just pure pain.
Just the knees, man.
Just picking up
they're gone.
Being the ball boy. Handing out the juice.
Exactly.
It's great to be back.
What does not hurt? What hurt us for a while is the lack of the LEC. But
you know what else is back? That's the segue.
I'm so happy the LEC is back. It's been 3 weeks, and in that time, I can't really say that the LCS really picked up the slack. It's like I don't know, man. There's a whole segment or thing that I want to kind of talk about the LCS and like the theory of comparing it to something along the lines of like the NFL, which has a similar amount of games, but the way that the storylines are constructed. But it's a whole thing I'll save for when we have no content.
Great.
The LEC is back. We have All Pro. We have playoffs. It's been 3 weeks. The meta's going to change. It's a tricky one to kind of read, but I'm really excited to see what teams have been able to do with these 3 weeks.
Yeah.
What do we think?
I mean, there's a lot going on there. Well, like, it's impossible to think anything, right? Like, I mean, you probably know the meta.
I disagree with that one.
Listen, you probably know the meta better than anyone, and I think like everyone's still going to be as good as they were prior. It's just going to come down to, I guess, the changes in draft and then a little strategy change maybe along the way. Plus reads.
I don't know, because like there's a lot of noise being said around the bot lane meta, and the way that might change, and the impact it might have on a team like Fnatic that plays so strongly through their.
Well, I was going to say.
Yeah.
I was going to say, who that'll impact the most.
Yeah.
You're transitioning us perfectly.
And then they're playing against G2, who plays through the top more. So you suddenly
in the middle.
And who else plays through the top a lot?
So you have this. I think it could create something a bit of fun. Just quickly to touch on it, because Scoot didn't want us to discuss this.
Is the new meta supposed to?
What did you guys think of?
Is the new meta supposed to? Wait. Yeah. Is the new meta supposed to enhance the bottom lane? So if you're really good in the bottom lane, you'll have a bigger impact, or are you saying that it's gonna kind of nerf some of the bottom lane?
It changes the priority picks. So it's like which champs are viable and how you choose to play through the bottom lane can change. So are you suddenly gonna start prioritizing Ashe? Do you continue just playing Jinx?
Big fan of Ashe.
Sorry?
Big fan of Jinx.
We know why. Big fan of Ashe.
Yeah. But
I think they made Jinx a little too strong coming out of Arcane just to give the show a little bit of credit.
A little bit of boost, yeah. We needed it. It was a bit,
of a boost. Yeah.
It had to happen. I mean, that was a good move on their part.
There's things like there was an interesting discussion on Josh Leesman, so Jat's podcast, around how C9 got thrown by a pick by FlyQuest a few years ago, and then they tried to integrate it and completely threw their playoffs, and they lost in like first or second round. And that it's that sort of question that we're coming into of for example, is Rogue. Rogue has been, I think, very strong this year. But is this going to be
Rogue's default?
Sorry?
Well, they always do a little bit of the right in the playoffs. So
playoff sketchy.
Yeah,
and
that would be
that's
par
what I
for
mean,
the course for
like,
them.
Are they gonna suddenly start? Are they gonna go back to like drafting all pushing lanes and stuff like that, or are they able to hold their identity that they've had all season so far? So
I mean, I'm excited to see if the Rogue playoff thing is an institutional issue. So that's what we're gonna find out this year, because the last couple of years it's been same team. So now, like, if they choke again, I mean, we're talking about a bigger problem.
Definitely,
I would say.
I think last year they were the favorites, and like Mad Lions just came out of nowhere. This year
they didn't come out of nowhere. I picked them here on this podcast.
Don't know. Maybe not. There's no way we can confirm or deny that. There's no proof.
Chris's record in playoffs is like fairly good, to be honest. I mean, he's had a world winner here and there.
Look,
even though he got insider information for that. But
Rogue has all 5 players in the All-Pro. Malrang Odoamne top lane in first All-Pro team, Trimby and Comp in second team, and then Larson in third team.
So does that mean that they're like? Does that mean that they suggest that like Rogue's like a good team? Like, how does that work?
I think it shows like all around. I think.
Does that mean that they're good at the regular?
They're the best.
That they're good at the regular season.
I don't think there's anyone that you can point to on that team. Like, I've been so impressed by Comp. I think Trimby and Malrang, huge. Larson's like in discussion for top 2, I would say. Mid laners. Odoamne is a rock. And this is the thing, is like, once again, they're in this situation where I would say pound for pound, they're the best team. And I think
definitively, like, easily.
So,
but the interesting thing is the only thing that kept Comp and Trimby out of first team would be the best bot lane, I guess, in the LEC, which is Upset and Hylissang. So like, and Hylissang is the MVP definitively,
without that.
So like
he got 100% first team pick rate. So there's no way.
Yeah, and that sucks to just to end up in that like situation where you're in second place, but you're probably also on the best team at the same time. But I mean, like, they're still second team, like, all pro. So like Rogue's team is definitively the best regular season team out there. And I would argue that maybe they're better than last year's team.
I think so. That's kind of what I was getting at.
Well, they're not. Absolutely not. I mean, they didn't have that. I mean, they went 14-4. We were thinking that they were going to go like 16-0 there at one point, or I guess 18-0. And they actually had
I think they're better.
They had kind of like a fall off, it felt like, in the second half of the, or at least the middle.
I think they went 5-4.
Spring Split.
On the second half, it's 5-4.
Yeah, it was like really weird. Like,
I still think that
not as sold on them being.
But I think they're better because compared to their opposition. I think last year's LEC, when you look at like Fnatic, you look at Mad Lions, you had the old school G2 with Reckless. I think the competition from last year was higher than this year.
Addition by subtraction of the field.
Sure. Comparatively, I think that if I went on an individual basis, I think
that doesn't make me excited for their chances in playoffs.
Kind of does. I mean, it's good to see them lose more regular season games. Like, maybe that lends itself to more playoff victories. You really don't know. But at the same time, it felt like when they were in control of matches, they're pretty unstoppable. And that's kind of the key factor. That's been present for Rogue for the past couple of years now. And I don't think that's changed. Mm-hmm. And I think their roster's better. That's the big thing to me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, I think Fnatic also has a super high ceiling. So
yeah, I think Fnatic is better than last year significantly. I think G2 is building something that's very exciting. So I think it is it's really those three of like, I think Fnatic, and it's a weird one in that I would say this year is better than last year. Individually, I would put like Hunt Summer over Comp, but I think Comp playing as part of Rogue, I think Rogue has a better chance to win this year. So it's a weird one because it's not only about subtraction. I'm not entirely sure how to explain this, but I think they have this is their best shot.
Let me just tell you something, Nikki. In the past 9 games,
yes,
Rogue is a paltry 5-4.
Yeah.
Whereas Fnatic 7-2, Misfits Gaming 7-2, which is relevant.
It is. So you're saying they're gonna lose to Misfits?
Am I saying that they will lose to Misfits? No. But am I saying that I'll put a little taste on Misfits at 2.9? Yes. Yes, I am.
Are you saying there's value?
Potential value.
I'm saying there's value. I think that this is quite. Are we jumping in here? Nick, I wasn't trying to derail.
We're here. Let's do it. Let's go for it. I think
I like across the board, you look at all three of these series, and there's a lot of value on underdogs. Like
a lot of
not
value.
even
Heavy
that
favorites.
I would consider one of them an underdog, considering the way they played this entire split and XL. But like 2.9, 2.96 for the first 2 matches on like Misfits and G2 respectively.
That's
it's very interesting to see that discrepancy.
That's like that it's one note I have is like, there is, if you think there's an upset, what incredible odds. Whereas the odds for the favorites are terrible, and you need to start hunting for something better.
One area, I mean, if you really think Rogue, right, you can do the -1.5, since we are dealing with best of 5 now.
Yeah,
which,
I have that.
So we love. So Rogue at -1.5 is 1.88. That's like starting to get appetizing. Ooh, that's even more appetizing. You can do, the under 3.5 maps for 2.65, like, which that can start to get appetizing.
I don't love that one.
I don't know if that happens here.
Yeah. Well, I'm calling a Misfits upset, so
you got Misfits money line.
So you see, I'm actually against that. So I went back. I looked at just patch 12.04, so the last 5 games of the LEC. And honestly, dirty to me. Misfits are a weirdly like bad team that's kind of wins games. So you look at the last 5 games that they have. They are sitting in 7th and 8th place for a lot of their stats, apart from the mid to late game rating. And I would stand that actually
important part of the game, by the way.
Well, I would actually
important part to
change
get
that.
To
the
finish.
It's only their late game, because their mid game, if you look at like the goal differential at 15, not good. It's not good as well.
When does mid game begin? Like what do you think? If you had to do like a time.
Ends. So you're looking at around 15.
When they drop the plating.
When you drop the plating, not so much the plating, but like when you start to see people roam for global objectives more than
start going for a dragon, going.
And not just your first dragon, but like we're talking about your second or third one, where you start to like maybe try to open up mid. Then you're trying to like rotate.
Start getting some buffs,
Baron buffs, like grab a tower, stuff like that. That's around the mid game. And Misfits mid game, not great, really not great. What they are very good at is punishing a mistake, and that's where they win. So they'll be behind.
Well, Rogue doesn't make mistakes.
That's been the story.
So we have this situation.
I mean, they lose games, so they clearly make some mistakes, but
it's not.
They don't make a lot of mistakes.
Exactly.
It's historically hard to count on Rogue making mistakes.
So you're in a situation where you have one team that wants to kind of play defensive until you make a mistake, and then they win the game, and you have another team that is trying to play extremely clean, and have a very good early game. Like Rogue's early mid game is actually really good. They're sitting at some like insane stats. So they are by far the number 1 in gold at 15. They have an 80% first tower rate in the last 5 games. So that's a first place, clearly the top one. You can get that 1.5 odds, not great, but still fine. They have an 80%, this one you'll love B&B is First Blood. 80% First Blood rate. Misfit is at 8th at 40%. You can get that at 1.7, which I think is good. So all in all, I'm predicting a 3-1 to Rogue.
Well, you know what I also really love? And this is a bet that is such a B&B bet. The over-under on game duration is 33 minutes.
Yeah.
For over 33 minutes, you get a 1.88. And let me tell you some stats. Misfits is like by far the team with the longest game time. It's 36.3 over the last 9 games. So that's a pretty good sample size. If you just take the last 4, it's 36.8, which is almost 37 minutes. Similarly, you have Rogue with almost like, kind of middle of the pack, but they're right around 32 minutes over the last 5. And I think they were right a little bit over 32 minutes over the last 9.
Okay.
So these are both teams that like to take these games longer. And to your point, Nikki,
I don't know if Rogue is that much longer because I think they're kind of on par. I think a lot of the teams' matches are 31 to 32. I think it's just Misfits is way like this out.
Well, that's because they like to punish the late game. They like to kind of draw things out. They try to make it as long as possible because they know that that's kind of when they can wear teams down and win. So I love the over 33 minutes on this.
Okay. Is it 33 minutes clean?
Well, the over-under is 33 minutes.
Okay. But it's like on the dot. It's not like
so
33 and a half. Because I think...
Well, yeah, I think like the minute you go...
Signed to...
No. I think like if you got to 33 minutes and 30 seconds, you won the over.
Yeah. I'm here to remind you to eat your veggies. And also to take Rogue minus 5.5 every single map that you possibly can. Because if they're going to win... I don't think the kills are going to be that close at all. And like, yes, my rule is usually like we talk about team fights and then you look at teams that have closer spreads, aka Dignitas, Preview, LCS. But it's not going to be within 5.5 if Rogue win.
Minus 5.5 is only 1.80.
That's free money.
I have it.
And if we're predicting a 3-1, you hit that 3 times. It's I mean, maybe 4 if you get the craziest loss in LEC history. But it could happen. It doesn't usually happen, but it's
This is actually one of the only games that I have a kill spread bet. I have under 27.5 kills on 1.98. Because
I like that as
doesn't
well.
particularly have like very bloody kills, and because Misfits I feel plays more defensive, I think you're going on that side of it, and it's essentially 2 times.
But that would,
so I think that's like a potentially good one.
Yeah, that would suggest though maybe taking the other side of Scott's bet, right? If the kills aren't going to be that big, usually when it's a little bit tighter, I don't know.
But 27's a lot. You consider that like I'm probably throwing out a line of like 16 to 9 or somewhere in there, and that even like is still below.
Yeah,
right.
So like
fair.
You've got a lot of space to work with, and I think Rogue for the most part this split has been pretty wide on their spreads. Not like
I think
they're playing teams that are significantly worse than them.
I think they're quite tight 100%. In their play, in that they'll kill a team, grab an objective, kill a team, grab an objective, kill a team, finish the game. Typically,
and if they get killed, if they get killed, it balances out to like a 1-to-1 because they trade pretty well as well.
But
that's a huge thing.
If you're gonna get these over 33-minute game times, you're opening yourself up for more kills, and so.
It's fine by me. The more the merrier.
I think if you, to be honest, if you're going for the Misfits upset, the game time bet makes more sense.
Yeah.
If it's not,
if you believe that,
if you think it's a Rogue, so like I think it's a Rogue 3-1. I think it's a Rogue 3-1. Minus 1.5 is a bet I would take there, and I don't know if I think Misfits is a weird team where they're greater than the sum of their parts, and they're kind of like a bad team that's good, or that is able to win, but I don't think they're good enough to win the championship.
All right, so I think we're probably
Scoot, you never
in agreement.
Your prediction.
What? Who wins the series?
And what's the scoreline?
I mean, I want to say like Misfits just for the storylines, but Rogue. I did say Rogue. I think Rogue wins this pretty easily.
What
scoreline? There's no way to
3-1?
I'm gonna say 3-0. I don't think this is even close.
Okay. Oh wow! All right.
Like minus 2.5, 3.51.
That is
the thing we said the last week we covered the LEC, which was about 2 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. Was that
feels like
Misfits
an eternity ago?
Yeah, I guess we did recap it a little bit after the split actually ended and like talking like intro to the LCS. But that was a pretty short segment because we didn't have anything to bet on afterwards. It's that Misfits is a pretty inconsistent team, and I think it's very hard to beat Rogue if you're doing that. It's easier to beat a team that might have the same similar levels of inconsistency, but like Rogue just plays too solid, and you don't want to be on the back heel against them, and that's kind of how Misfits has been.
And I think when I was talking about like the All Pro, part of that is like, you know, Vetheo got first team in the middle, and
second team, right?
No, he got first. He got first. Humanoid,
he got first,
second, and
he's very good.
Third.
Sorry,
and so yes and no. I think he is very good. He is good. I think he's very really good, and I think without a doubt,
he's by far the best player on their team.
And I think he is the key to their wins. So he deserves the first All Pro, but I don't think he's the best mid laner. If that makes sense, and he is like if they build a
that's kind of a hot take for this year.
So if they build around him, he wins them the game. Yeah. They don't build around him, they lose the game.
Who's the best mid laner?
I would say it's between Humanoid and Larson. I think
Fair
both
enough.
of them
That's
are just
2 and
playing.
3.
I would probably put Larson. I think he's having a really, really good split. Whereas I think Humanoid is.
I think Misfits Gaming is being slept on.
Okay,
They went 12 and 6. They went 12 and 6.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Third best team in the league. Vetheo was like. To your point, also I think we're in agreement. Shining like by far, like the shining star on that team. So like absolutely, like they don't have that kind of record without him.
No way, no way. I think that 5th or 6th place if without him.
So I think I think he's appropriately in the first team.
Yeah,
and I think you're gonna see a Rogue 3-1. So I think.
I thought you said
putting a 3-0 on a team.
Winning.
I'm putting a unit.
Oh, okay.
On the upset.
There's value there.
But I
can't disagree with
the
that.
value. But I think that the -1.5, I think you're going to see a 3-1 from Rogue.
I mean, Nicky's only point is that it's so hard to...
They're going to lose in playoffs, but it's not going to be the Misfits. If they lose the Misfits, they have to get fucking chopped up. Yeah.
It's hard to be the statistically best mid laner in the LEC when your team is so good around you. Like, we're talking about Rogue, who has the best top lane, clearly, and then Fnatic, who has the best bot lane. And, you know, it's hard to be a mid laner in that situation and have the best stats on the back of that, especially when you have comp and upset just dropping bombs. It just doesn't. You're never gonna have the stats to back it up, and because he's had to carry Misfits, that's why we've ended up in this situation.
Yeah, and I mean,
so it makes sense.
I think Misfits has kind of like performed better than I think losing Razork I thought would be way worse for them, and they've come out of it really well. But I think when I look across the board and some of the mistakes they made in the way they play, I'm excited for next split for them. And I think if they tighten things up and they come like into next season with the same team and they work on it, they're really starting to become a threat, which is good to see. But Rogue are gonna win, so that's my call. This next match, so this is the match that I had like the most certainty on. The next two just kind of like fucking devolves. Like I'm starting to go into a bit of like La La Land. So G2 Fnatic. I think Fnatic has been like second best team. Arguably first best team at times.
Arguably.
Hey, wait.
That was cute.
Yeah,
that was cute.
Thank you. That's the cue for the sound effects.
You guys practice that?
We do actually. How did you know? We just FaceTime.
Wait, did you guys not hear the claps? Was I in preview again?
Oh. There we go.
It's so awkward when you live studio audience.
It's so awkward when you just cut it out too. It just goes like, oh, they're loud, and it's just dead.
Yeah, I know. I
shouldn't be the producer. I shouldn't be.
Like, surely it comes up and then slowly fades away, and instead
it does.
You're just like, no.
Oh, it sounds so much better. No, listen.
That's enough.
I don't want to interrupt.
Scott's like, exactly. He's like, that's enough claps out of you.
Yeah.
I mean, if we had a live studio audience, they'd be shut down and behind a glass barrier within seconds.
So G2
Which
Fnatic,
we do.
As I said, Fnatic at times best. I would say G2's third best team. And I don't know why, but I have this feeling that G2 is going to cause an upset.
You know why? You know what your feeling is?
What's my feeling?
It's Caps. It's literally just Caps.
Could be.
Is Caps going to hard carry?
No.
Enough to get them through this series?
I actually think it's the whole team. I think Jankos has been playing like an MVP. He's been playing so fucking well. Broken Blade's been doing solidly. I think Caps, when he plays on certain champs like mages, he does really well. He's really good even off them, but they haven't kind of focused as much. And I've just been impressed by the bot lane. And I think we saw that again, like Targamas getting voted into All-Pro.
Yeah.
And he 100%
Targamas.
Well, that's huge for them. That's huge for them too, because those are the pickups that they made.
Yeah,
those are the important ones, and that is the real question mark coming into the split. So it's good to see that he's on a All Pro team. I think my point there is just that Caps is capable of dragging this team through a match, and if he needs to in a game 5, it's possible. If he needs to in a game 1, it's possible.
At all.
I was gonna say, who's not who's absent from the All Pro.
He slept on.
Maybe
it's all good.
Maybe that's gonna light a fire under him.
It might.
I just think my issue is that I think Fnatic is so good and is so capable of being the number 1 team in the LEC. And yes, Rogue is a phenomenal team across the board, but I think Fnatic has a higher ceiling when they all gel at the same time.
Yeah,
I think
I'm with you on that. I can see that.
But at the same time, there is that yes, they have to. But it has to come together at the same time.
There are rumors that they have been inting the fuck out of scrims, which are rumors, and I don't really. Scrim rumors never actually pan out into anything that actually.
We know
matters.
This,
so I'm like, it doesn't matter, but doesn't matter.
Scrim gods. We've heard a lot about scrim gods before.
You always have to say doesn't
matter. I don't know.
Is the storyline
maybe? But the other
Scrim 9.
You have some other things that are just I had a look at. It's a weird thing of Fnatic's KD is insane. They are so far ahead of everyone else. They essentially they have double the KD of the next best team. It is insane how high the difference is. But
low deaths.
But when you look at the other stats, G2 and Fnatic are actually kind of close. They're swapping a lot of it's 4th and 5th place or 3rd and 4th across a lot of the average gold spend, early game, mid game type of stuff. It's
here's my concern.
Dissimilar there.
Here's my concern.
Mm-hmm.
They're just not as clean as they used to be, right? And this comes from a kind of young team. It comes from a team that hasn't played together necessarily as long as their previous teams have come from. Mm-hmm. Fnatic feels a cleaner team. Is Caps washed up? I'll let you guys decide. Broken Blade.
You also hate G2. You hate G2.
Oh man,
I cannot explain it. Never been able to.
Broken Blade,
but you just do not like the org.
Broken Blade, clearly the best player on their team this year.
No, Jankos. What? How do you put Broken Blade over Jankos? Jankos has been phenomenal.
Broken Blade is absolutely crushing it. There's one stat in particular that I like, where he was been voted the best player of the game, the most out of all of G2. Yep. Where he got it 4 times. Man of the match type of thing. Correct. Yeah. And so across, by far,
just get for that a little golden mouse.
I heard they give out NFTs for that now.
I was gonna say something.
Oh, that's a G2 dig, huh?
PG-13 comment.
That's a G2 dig.
Yeah.
Somebody call Carlos.
If you get enough of them, he gives you a little handy.
He also rugs you, so
probably. And then he sues the people who rugged you to try and pretend that he didn't rug you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he rugged anyone, but
he's rugged.
Very Spanish.
I don't really know what happened, to be honest. That confused the
Will we ever know?
Definitely not called someone back when he said, I'll call you.
Oh my God.
He's definitely
absolutely not. Anyway, point being, gentlemen.
Do you think he leaves a scarf with every conquest? Just a little. Anyway, being sorry. Chris.
How'd we get here?
I don't love the money on Fnatic. I think that even -1.5 is kind of dangerous. So I'm actually going to take the +1.5 for G2.
Ooh.
I also
What's that
like
at?
the 1.99, basically 2.0 odds.
That is actually really good. And I do think this is a 3-2.
I think it's going to be a lot closer. I don't want to necessarily pick who. I think Fnatic's going to win this out. But the over 4.5 is also 3.09.
I have the over 3.5 at 1.46, which I thought also.
Yeah, that's also really good.
I would double up on those.
For sure. And so that's where I'm sick. In matches like this, where I think they're both pretty good, I do think you're going to see Fnatic win. I don't see enough value on a -1.5 though. So I'm going to take the +1.5 for G2 at basically 2.0 odds. I'm going to take the over 3.5 for sure at 1.45. And then I'm going to take the over 4.5 as well at 3.09.
I like that. One bet I think is an incredible bet. It's not first target because they're both tied for first at 80%. It's actually Fnatic has 100% first dragon rate on patch 12.04. 5 games, first place. G2's 8th place with 20%. And you can get that 1.67.
I don't even know really what to take here. Like, this is...
All right, cool.
I'm so all over the place because listen, again, on the back of me thinking that, yes, Fnatic has the highest ceiling in the LEC this year, in my opinion, it's been pretty clear. But they could just roll into this in 3-0 G2.
Yeah, I think I do.
Like,
I think it's that, like a 3-2 or it's a 3-0. But if it's a 3-0,
there's a 100% chance that happens. I think if G2 takes a map, this goes 5 easy. Like, we're gonna see a 5 game
and honestly,
series.
outside
you can hammer that right away.
Outside of G2 getting decimated by Rogue in the last game, they've been playing great up before that.
Yeah, they were 100% playing well, and that's something that I think we all wanted to see as a young team and kind of sitting, I guess, right in the conversation for kind of top 3 in that situation. Is that, when's it going to kick in? You guys need to become a top 3 team. You're G2. Like, it's a historically good organization. And it kind of did. And then they ran into Rogue, and Rogue kind of slammed them around a little bit. I think I agree with the G2 plus 1.5 here, though, at 1.88. Because even though Fnatic can do it, I'm not sure that, like...
1.99. So you said G2 plus 1.5, right?
Yeah, I have it at 1.88.
Oh, I got it at 1.99, yeah.
Okay, those are way better odds. I mean, up 10% on your money there.
It's bigger than the other number, so it's better.
Ooh, that's all that matters.
Math.
I don't know if, like,
hot takes.
Maybe I'm losing faith in that, like, maybe Fnatic is a very good best of 1 team because, like, I think they have that high ceiling and maybe a little bit of inconsistency.
Good take.
I don't know about
best of 5
unpredictability, but their ability
no longer
better.
Best of 1.
I think G2 has something ready though for a best of 5, at least for 1 map, probably 2 maps. I don't think they're going to come under.
It's going to be an upset somewhere, and
we're getting there. We are getting there.
Is that an upset though? Like,
it's going to, and that's less of a 5th and 6th place. Who gives a shit?
Come on, with these odds,
this is just where I'm. This is where I'm seeing the upset, and I also wouldn't be surprised if Fnatic is coming in a little bit cocky. Because they are playing they were playing so well.
That's how their org has always operated.
And I wonder if G2 maybe gives them a little bit of a clap back. They drop to a low bracket, and then they
do not.
Then they reach finals. So I'm not saying this is not a Fnatic loses and they're out. It's like maybe it's a little bit of a wake up call, and they're like, "Oops, we need to take this a bit more seriously."
I think Rogue would love to play G2 next. They would fucking love to play G2 next and not have to play Fnatic.
So we'll see.
It's like it's a typical Rogue picture. If you have any inconsistencies, they're probably going to exploit them. So like they're pretty much fine playing anyone, but Fnatic's probably the worst out of the.
Talking about inconsistencies.
The funny thing is, like, let's talk about honestly, if you're Rogue, if you are Rogue, sorry, this is one point that I actually find semi interesting. If you are Rogue, I think you actually prefer to play Fnatic right away. Because then you kind of get 2 chances at him. You can learn about and honestly, losing to him once might actually help Rogue to a degree. Because then I think they'll have a better chance of, as opposed to only facing Fnatic once in the grand final, where I think that would actually be much more likely for an upset. And then you get the same Rogue coming in second place and upset again, as opposed to Fnatic's by far the best team, I think, outside of Rogue. I think if you're Rogue, you want to face them once in the semis. That way they have a chance to kind of go through, run out the lower bracket, and then come back and beat them in the final.
God, you don't just look hot on this podcast. The brain is firing too, huh?
That's a good point. I think
listen. I don't disagree. I think for a team,
it's a really good point. I think, and you know what, this is where I think the LEC is exciting, is that you have like legitimate underdogs, like G2 and Misfits are a real threat. We clearly have Rogue and Fnatic there. In battling for this, like, who is the best?
Yeah, this isn't C9 and Team Liquid.
Exactly, and then you have a team that's coming in behind,
or T1 and anyone else in the world.
Exactly, and I think that makes it really interesting, because even if this season, let's say, Misfits doesn't win, I'm really excited to see them in summer, and like, can they continue this trend? And if they can, then it's like, hey, we've really got a race going on. Anyway, you ruined my segue.
Sorry.
Which I'm upset about.
Yeah, you did. It was a good one
as well.
Talking about inconsistency.
Talking about inconsistencies, how about we talk about vitality?
That's crazy. Got it in there.
Because clapping. Where's the... God, you're a terrible producer.
Wait.
All right, never mind. Don't do it now. Don't... Oh, Jesus.
Oh, sorry.
Enough out of them. Enough out of them.
Back in your hole.
Shut the fuck up, buddy. Shut the fuck up, live studio audience. Get out of the room. We know you're fans. You want to donate money?
Stop it, cheese water. Stop clapping.
How the fuck are XL underdogs? Why are we not?
Congratulations to XL for getting into playoffs. First time ever.
Now it's so good
for the org. They've been working towards it for a couple of years now. They made it in. Amazing. They got Patrick into third All-Pro team. Completely deserved. I think it's really good to see them get a player in that All-Pro voting. Yep. All around good. My big question is, like, 3 weeks off, has Vitality fixed this shit?
Well, it's always been a question of, hey, are they going to play as a team after they lane? Because they lane really well. We've covered this. Like they're individually very talented players. Yeah. Then it comes down to, like, how much chemistry actually is there and where's the coordination? Mm-hmm. Like what part of the puzzle is missing for you to roll any lead that you had against a bad team into a victory, which they had trouble doing for an entire split. So yeah, maybe 3 weeks off has changed that. I think the other notable point there is that it's a team that has a bunch of proven best of 5 players, like very good best of 5 players, especially Perks. I think is the one that stands out. He's been clutch.
Who else?
I think Alfari's been pretty good in best of 5s historically. He used to int a little bit in the LEC.
What are you I guess about? He was on like Astralis and stuff like that. So we haven't seen him in a best of 5. And
LCS.
Yeah, okay.
That's I guess the friendship league. So
maybe
it doesn't
count.
I'm not
against that, but I actually think, like, part of he has this issue of win lane lose game, and I think that was a big issue with the LCS. I would love to say that I invented that, Chris, but I didn't. It's a pretty.
I've heard that.
And I think self-made has been self-made. Maybe
Carzy too. I mean, Carzy actually is part of that Midliner team.
Like, I had this question, and we're not doing it for the LCS, but actually for the LEC, it might be relevant and surprisingly good and bad. I'm not that surprised that Perks isn't good, because he wasn't great in NA, so it kind of tracks, and we're continuing on with that. Carzy, I think, has been bad, or bad for what I would expect from him. Like, I really don't think Vitality. I think that he just hasn't delivered. Neither has Perks. Like, it's not all on him. But let's say Alfari's self-made and Carzy are delivering, that team would be way better. Instead, it's kind of self-made and Alfari, and the others are kind of mediocre. And
do you think that Carzy was more of a, like, important role player to Mad Lions prior?
No, I don't think he was as. I think that influencer / owner talking shit about him was one of the best things that happened for his career, because it really it put him in such a good position. Like, he was the good guy. Now, I'm not saying he was a bad player. I think Mad Lions succeeded as a team and did great and so on. But I think that situation let him get away with maybe more than he should have.
You think he got overvalued because of it?
So.
Possibly.
I think so.
Listen, the obvious answer here is XL at 2.68.
Yeah.
And Vitality's been too inconsistent to justify taking them at 1.44. That wouldn't make any fucking sense.
Oh yeah, no way.
To be honest. If anything, XL plus 1.5 if you're a little bit skittish at 1.71 is awesome as well.
That. I love that. I mean,
I think if we go 5, it gets tricky.
Sorry, say it one more time.
Playoff God.
XL plus 1.5 at 1.71 is like. Really
I have
value,
plus 1.5 at 1.87.
Wow,
that's insane. It's insane that that's anywhere near 1.9. Just because, I think XL earned their way into this playoff a lot more than Vitality did, and they look hungrier. So that's just what I'm going off of a little bit.
Over 3.5. Over 3.5 at 1.43.
Pretty solid. I mean, it's only 1.4, but there's a pretty big chance that happens. I would say.
I think
the probability
over 3.5. You think that there's even a chance this goes 3-0?
I just said the probability
from either side. You think it goes 3-0?
I have a bit of a. This is what I'm going back to is I don't know that Vitality has fixed their issues.
You don't think Excel's going to go 3-0?
I think that they don't necessarily have to fix that much to beat Excel.
That's probably true as well. That's the other issue.
That's right. So this is a match that I'm not betting too heavily on because I do love that plus 1.5 on Excel. But I can also see Vitality kind of like fixing a few things. And beating Excel pretty easily.
Vitality feels like the team that we're like afraid of. Like if at any moment they actually reach their potential based on the talent, like if at any time the sum of their parts was actually close to the quality of the talent that is on that roster,
this is a 3-0. If that was
a fucking 3-0, and Vitality could win playoffs. But
exactly,
I still haven't.
It has to happen for 4 straight matches.
I haven't seen it once.
No.
Yeah, haven't seen it
like at any real point within the season. Like the best thing that they did was the second week they won 2 games.
Yeah,
I want to throw out props to Misfits for making the difficult decision to bring in Mickey when they started off 2-0 or so.
You mean XL?
Not
Misfits.
Yeah, sorry, XL. Sorry
no, they did. And
you know who's missing?
You
know who doesn't have a single player on the first, second, or third All-Pro team?
Vitality.
You know who does?
XL.
Yeah. Patrick.
They have one.
Patrick.
Right?
Yeah.
Congratulations, Patrick.
When I said that at the beginning.
Well, before we got on, but I am happy that.
No, I just said it just like 5 minutes ago.
Oh well.
Yeah. All right.
It was. You didn't say it loud enough.
Oh look, he's frozen.
Chris, what do you got here?
You know what? His brain got too hot from like the analysis.
It's local video. Nobody's ever frozen. Just
remember
that.
Yeah.
And then
it was such a good take. I was like, man, gotta power down for a second.
Yeah. I don't have much more to say about Vitality XL.
I agree.
Just that, like, if Vitality improves a little bit, I think they do beat XL. If they play the way that they have been playing, I think XL has a shot at the upset.
Yep. And then on top of that,
plus 1.5.
If Vitality looks good against XL, if they do 3-0, I could see him beating a G2 or a Fnatic or a Misfits, whoever gets dropped down to the lower bracket as the worst seed.
I think it really depends on how they win. Like,
I think as a better, it's exactly what I was going to say. I think the most important thing, exactly, depending on how they do. But even so, like even if it is a 3-1 and 3 of those matches are like very coordinated team fighting wins, as opposed to just kind of maybe they put a couple things together on the back half of a lead and get it done that way. Yeah. But if you look at Vitality and it looks coordinated, then you're looking at a team that's probably pretty dangerous moving forward. And then we start having this conversation about, okay, can they actually win playoffs from the bottom of the barrel pretty much. So that would be pretty cool to see.
No, you know what? I don't want Vitality.
I agree. Shit. I do not want them at all.
Yeah, there's no one on
I don't know,
team
man.
There's nothing fun about them.
But like really, no, I would like G2.
I'd like if it G2 won. That's like, okay. There you go. Yeah, that's the team I want to win.
Winning. But really,
I would like to see Rogue. I'd like to see Rogue win for the first time ever.
If Rogue doesn't win again, it is like I'm just fucking dying because I really
imagine
like
if you're
the org. I like the team.
Imagine if you're a Rogue player.
can't change my fucking light color.
Apparently, yeah.
I was
like,
fucking blue.
I
was trying to change it to blue.
Yeah, they were so broken when they lost to like Midliner.
Well, that was because
I know you were dejected after that.
Midliner is the
kind of
greatest
awesome
playoff team in history.
That shit was that was cool as fuck.
Spring and summer.
Actually, XL needs to win this.
That's
what
awesome.
needs to happen. We need XL Rogue finals
as well. Anyway, another thing that dejects me is the LCS.
Really? Why is that? It's the most fun league out there.
I have our notes as like, hey, TSM beats C9, wild. FlyQuest beats TL, wild. TSM goes 2-0. Whoa, 100 Thieves goes 2-0.
Well, 100 Thieves is now 5-0 over the last 5.
Yeah, they've done 5-game winning streak. That's I was hoping you actually.
Hey, you predicted it too. You had them turning it around.
Would come back in, 100 Thieves not, and I was gonna whip that.
Nope.
Out. Anyway,
I whipped it out first.
But then, so I was like, TSM 2-0, C9 losing, TL losing, 100 Thieves doing well, and then I was like, wait a second, nothing fucking changed. It seemed like literally.
Well, it seems like just exactly what had to happen
for
it to keep us in the same exact position that we were in last week. And now anybody can get in the playoffs. That's the craziest part.
I think, and I have it in our show notes, there is one storyline for this weekend. And let us remind our dear fellow followers, it is a super weekend. So we now get matches on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Shout out the sportsbook.
The sportsbook is not on top of this, apparently. So maybe if a sportsbook listening, they can add some Sunday matches for us. But there is a 4-way battle for 3 spots between FlyQuest, Dignitas, EG, and Golden Guardians. CLG, they fucked up. They're out.
Are they actually out?
CLG's
They're not actually out, but they would have to win all
clear.
3 matches, and one of those 3 teams, or 2 of those 3 teams that I just mentioned, have to lose all 3 of their matches. Yeah. So effectively, they're out. Immortals, you're out. TSM, you're out. So we have...
Yeah. Immortals, TSM... Actually, there's one way. Like, I think TSM goes 3-0. Everyone else goes 0-3. There's 2 tiebreakers. They have to win. It's like...
They're out.
It's so convoluted. It's not
So the reality is, we've got a 4-way playoff for 3 spots. And so if it's not a FlyQuest playing a Dignitas, or a FlyQuest playing a EG, or EG playing Dig, or, some computation of those teams playing each other this weekend, I'm not that interested. But I am interested in every match where they play each other.
I mean, I think there's some value though. I have some poking value here and there in some of those other extraneous matches. But I get nervous when you start betting
on teams that aren't really playing for anything, right? So like,
yeah, I see what you're saying.
Unless they bench their team, like didn't 100 Thieves put out their like academy team for one game last year, and everyone lost their fucking minds about it for no reason.
Again, I'm just not. That's fine. I mean, I have no problem with it. I'm just not going to bet on it.
Sure. But if you're playing for seeding, I mean, that kind of matters at that point. I think like C9 and TL and 100 Thieves are all playing for seeding. Well, 100 Thieves might be out of the combo.
I think CLG is still in it.
They're 5-10. They're 5-10.
Yeah.
Because I need to look back, because I think Dignitas is the biggest question mark. I think FlyQuest basically is locked, and I think EG is locked. I think this is really a story of Dig, Golden Guardians, and CLG.
But this is like we're also sitting in a situation where you can doubt them on the back of 2 losses, but we said this last week, they're gonna lose 2 next weekend. I mean, I threw out there CLG 2-0, all that garbage, but like it's Team Liquid and C9. They're not expected to win either of those games.
Sorry,
they're playing.
Who are you talking about?
CLG.
Are they're playing Team Liquid? No, they're not.
No, they just played TL and C9. Yeah. And so yes, they were supposed to lose both those games.
You promised us that they would go 1-1. Maybe 2-0. Maybe 2-0.
I said they have the best chance to squeak one out. I was wrong. FlyQuest did.
He was right, just for the wrong teams, because TL and C9 did go 1-1, just not against CLG. So
you clearly didn't hear me right. I mean, I don't even know what to tell you.
They have Immortals,
for real.
TSM,
they're not out of it.
And EG left. The big thing kind of comes in, like what is Dig got? Dig's got Cloud9, TL, and 100 Thieves. That's like an 0-3 weekend, which it won't be, but there's a real shot there's an 0-3 weekend there. Golden Guardians has TL, EG, and IMT, so that's maybe we can say it's 2-1, 1-2, depending on how EG comes out of it. So I think CLG has a real shot still of getting.
All right. So
am I gonna like wake up on Monday and look at this board and every team's 9-9? Like that's what feels like it's gonna happen. I don't even know how that's possible.
There's 4 teams, as I mentioned already, that are in fighting for 3 spots. So out of FlyQuest, Dignitas, Evil Geniuses, and Golden Guardians, who is missing out? Golden Guardians just had
Dignitas.
a killer 2
I think it's Dig.
I think it's Dig.
Dig.
I think Dig.
Wow,
it's
Dig.
Okay.
I think Dig is out.
Wow.
Dig's got a tough weekend, and they have not looked that good recently.
C9,
and so
PL,
it's just Golden Guardians picked up
Thieves.
2 wins when they needed to.
I mean,
they have a really rough.
That's a really rough
And
weekend.
I'm not unhappy with them. I think they've come out pretty.
They started great.
Started great. Everyone was talking a lot of shit about River and Blue, and I think they've impressed. I think Biofrost has been playing well. Fake God has not been, and Neo has been decent. So it's like, as an org, I'm not unhappy. They've been in the conversation way more than they should have been.
That's probably true.
So
I mean,
I Golden Guardians has looked good. FlyQuest just came off of a big win. And you know what? Like, it's EG and FlyQuest have kind of a similar week that's kind of like touch and go. Yeah, FlyQuest is playing EG, Immortals, and then Cloud9. And then EG is playing FlyQuest, Golden Guardians, and CLG. So EG has if they won playoffs, like, they're playing against the teams that are trying to get in. So they're the gatekeepers. We're back to the Jizuke days of EG. Gatekeeping playoffs from other teams. So
they are literally a gatekeeper. How did this happen? How did this happen?
I mean,
they were supposed to be better. I think that to Nikki's very astute point last year, they are perennial gatekeepers. They will probably finish right on that 5-6 spot. Even though talent-wise, they should be much better, and maybe they'll make a little surprise in playoffs.
I would stick them in 4th place.
Ooh.
I'd say
if they win that first match, I think they're hitting 4th place pretty
even
easily.
If they finish in 5th, I would say the 4th best team.
Well,
which is
it's weird to see FlyQuest
on track,
pretty capable of punching above their weight at certain points. I don't understand exactly
FlyQuest
how they're able to do it.
3 this weekend. Let that alarm be raised. They're playing EG. They're playing Immortals, who hasn't won a game in like fucking 4 weeks. But at some point, you assume they're going to win something. I could just see it being a sneaky thing as they're looking forward to a game where they feel like they could beat Cloud9 or something. But Cloud9, FlyQuest could easily sneakily go 0-3. Now they have the most protection of going 0-3. They're already 8-7, whereas the other 3 teams, Dig, EG, and GG, are 7-8. So they have a game up on them, but it's gonna be a fun fucking weekend.
So with that in mind, like, EG FlyQuest first match on Friday. What's your prediction?
I have a lovely EG win.
Yeah,
it's just the value is terrible.
The value is terrible.
You should take FlyQuest based on the value.
2.38.
Oh,
I have FlyQuest at 2.38, and I think that is.
Nikki,
that is incredible.
Nikki, value. I don't even know how I have this number based on what you just said. Usually, like, we're close. We're like maybe 0.1 off.
Yeah, with the 0.1.
I'm showing 2.69.
Wow.
Almost 2.7.
That's so dumb.
That's wild.
Like, that is so dumb.
That's a 0.3 difference. Yeah, I mean, like, you have to take that.
You have to take it. Unless they know something that I don't know, which could very well be the case.
They just beat Team Liquid. So, which partially is Whippo inting the fuck out of things and stuff like that. But whatever.
What's his fucking deal, man? He's such a wild card.
Yeah, but he's kind of like consistently a wild card. Like,
yeah,
he will win you games or lose
controlled chaos, right?
So it's. I think they're getting what they wanted. Yeah. Okay. I love that. I love that.
I'm in the process of sneezing.
Good.
For all of our
I love
video
that.
listeners, got a little surprise and delight there.
That's pretty. I mean, that one's pretty obvious to me.
Look,
it's just the value sits on FlyQuest.
I think we're gonna go through. I'm gonna skip a lot of these games because I think there's a lot of filler. And some of the odds are like massively skewed. So like, you have TL against Golden Guardians. It's like TL at 1.25. I don't know.
3.8.
I'll say that, you know what? I had 3.75. So it's like, if you are really thinking like you said, Chris, and this was actually, I didn't put this in the show notes, but I want to kind of say is like, we have these teams of 4. I'm going to kind of take out FlyQuest because I think they're in. But you have EG, Dig, Golden Guardians, and CLG that are really trying to make it in. You need to use
a
your
lot on the
judgment
line.
There's a lot on the line, and there are great odds, like really, really good odds on the upsets. So if you really think that Golden Guardians, who I thought were going to be a very good team and haven't been, but then went 2-0, has a chance to like upset TL to try and make it in this Super Week, you can get 3.8 odds on them. So like that's what this is kind of like a wide recommendation, is like look across it and pick the teams that you think are gonna make it. If you think it's Golden Guardians, just grab those odds because they are, even if they go 1 and 2, you're gonna make money.
On the off chance, I know you have this very astute observation, Nikki. Could completely back that thesis. In that same vein, I guess, like, if you think for whatever reason that CLG has any remote chance of making it, obviously the first game they have to win is against Immortals. And you can get them at 1.90, basically even odds against Immortals. And Immortals is fucking awful. They're the worst team in the fucking league.
They're playing really bad.
They've been really bad recently, too. So recency bias.
Like, that just seems like free money.
CLG,
that money line?
that
money line seems like free money.
Forget playoffs. That's just a good, that's just a good bet. I was going to say that's like a really solid one. I'm struggling with any bets on Team Dig just because I don't think they're going to win it. So for me, it's like you're looking for where is FlyQuest or Golden Guardians going to have an upset. Or CLG.
I've got Dig plus 7.5 against C9 day 1. I think that's a pretty solid pick.
Not touching it.
Dig is good at closing down a wide spread for the most part, from what I've seen. So, not too worried about that one. I think it's pretty solid. I forget what the odds are exactly on that. Let me pull that up real quick. 1.95. So it's definitely outsized odds for what you usually get on a spread, and I think they're cool.
I have a question for you guys. Do you think TSM is going to upset 100 Thieves? With TSM
probably
going
not.
2-0, do we think this is like?
I mean, I listen. It's hard to have faith in that organization. They went 2-0.
I don't think so because
it's not going to happen.
Thieves is 5-0. So
if you want to put a flyer on it,
just some tips.
There you go.
Man, you nailed that. You nailed that. Loved it.
Let's go to Saturday.
Listen, man.
Let's go Saturday. Okay, on Saturday, we open up with a Team Liquid versus Dignitas. You have 3.05. Again, I'm not mad about that. Golden Guardians versus EG. 2.4 on Golden Guardians, 1.55 on EG.
I got 2.53.
Right?
Yeah, this is what I mean. Like, again, I think EG is the 4th best team, and I think they should win it. But we've seen EG mess up, and
they love to just
fucking the split. I thought was going to be really good.
And again, like, they just kind of fucking slip up right when they shouldn't. Like, there's just a little bit of an inexperience closing out games that allows for other teams to creep in, and so
they talked about it. They actually said because they have a great early game. I think they have like the best early game rating on Oracle's Elixir. So it's and I think they were talking about it. They were like, we didn't expect to have to train on how to win a game from being ahead. Like they just thought they would be able to do it, and instead they're like losing those, and so now they're having to like rework it. It's a good problem to have.
Just so you know, Evil Genius's early game is not the best.
No, it isn't.
They've. I
So,
thought you said that Evil Genius's early game would be the
Golden Guardians.
Golden Guardians. Sorry,
Golden Guardians.
Talked
about this
Golden
last
Guardians. Early game rating is like the worst. So over the last.
West?
I believe last
over the
week
last
pretty
2
solid.
splits, they're in like second to last place early game.
Chris is coming with facts.
Not to pop your balloon. Sorry. Just don't want to be lying.
There was somewhere.
Don't want to be fake news to our fan base.
All right. Anyway, all trash everywhere all the time. So never mind. I don't know what I got mixed up there. Anyway, moving on.
Maybe you were thinking about EG. EG has like an okay early game rating.
Yeah, no, but it's okay. No, I saw some sort of stat. Anyway, don't worry about it. But like the odds are good on GG. That's kind of what I have. Then we have TSM, CLG, and I love this one because CLG is the underdog at 2.1. Like
craziness. So much value. So much value.
Just
TSM has had one good victory this
weekend.
Basically. One good weekend. And
literally one good win.
And I do think they're a better team than people. They are a good team. They're a bad team with good players, I think is the thing there. But like CLG is coming together and they have the momentum. TSM's out. And these are pivotal games for CLG. So 2.1. What do you have do you have better odds, BB?
My odds are 2.11 as well. So right there in line.
Okay. Perfect.
Yep.
I love that. 100 Thieves Cloud9. This is the big match.
But it's not that big.
It's a seeding match, right?
Yeah. I'm actually...
I think C9's a better team, 1.7. Too good to pass up.
Great match between two good teams. Not a match I'm excited for this weekend. I'm not joking. I only care about kind of if you're EG, GG, FlyQuest, or Dignitas.
It's happening at the wrong time is what you're saying.
I think 100 Thieves is going to win this, and I think I've got 2.10 odds, so the odds are like super generous.
Oh, I have...
I think Cloud9's odds are at like 1.7.
2.29.
Yeah, you see that's like fucking, like, of course you did. 100 Thieves is coming off of
Nicky's fucking
5-0. 5-0.
Copium.
5-0.
Copium.
And Cloud9 just lost to TSM. So like clearly this shit is fucking over. They've been exposed. The whole trend is not that good. Summit was like a mid-season peak.
Shut up! He's the best top player in North America.
Over the fucking hill. We've hit the peak.
I think Nicky's trying to do.
You're literally
now we're rolling down.
I think Nicky is doing his best BNB impression.
Yeah, that's it. I do think
Nikita, you're coping.
I think 100 Thieves, the odds are there.
Well, for sure at 2.3 basically.
Exactly. So that's that.
God, can we go back to like 3 weeks ago when they were mediocre and you were half depressed about it? Please.
Well, and I can't see any bets for Sunday. Sad times.
No, I can't. So we'll run through the quick schedule. Sunday, Dignitas versus 100 Thieves. Again, I think you'll probably get 3-point-something odds there. It's hard to bet for them.
I wouldn't bet that.
CLG. This is one now. Like I think this is a big one. Now, if
I could see CLG winning this.
Yeah.
I could absolutely see CLG winning this, regardless of where they are.
When you're in,
see them winning it and just upsetting EG. Like they were supposed to be 4th, and now all of a sudden they get knocked down to 5th. Like CLG loves to play spoiler. They love it.
Mm-hmm.
What if it's a win and you're in situation?
And they're going to lose.
CLG pulls it off. I said that last week, but now I don't believe it anymore. So CLG's making it. We're going to find a way.
Yeah.
I'm you now.
Incorrect.
So
yep. That about wraps it up. I think. Look, pay attention. Pay attention to what is going on between those 4 teams. I think you have some very generous odds for upsets happening,
especially against EG. A lot of value, or a lot of credit being given to EG that I don't think is necessarily warranted, and you're getting a lot of value on FlyQuest and Golden Guardians.
Yep.
And probably the same will be true again. The same will definitely be true for CLG. You're probably gonna get also 2.8, something outrageous.
Yeah.
CLG's underdogs against like bad fucking teams
weirdly.
Right now,
so I think there's just like solid value on CLG against teams that they should be the favorite for. So it's like
they're playing Immortals, TSM, and EG. Like that could be a 3-0 weekend for them.
A 3-0, absolutely. So it's like
I don't think it'll get them
or
in.
Even a 2-1.
Yeah, for sure 2-1.
So yeah.
CLG the new 2-1
bets there. Check out the upset potentials. LEC is back. Fucking excited to see what has happened to these teams after 3 weeks. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Best of 3 Network. Make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube because we now have a fucking YouTube and you can see us. There's that gang sign, a very, very white gang sign. And you can find a link to our Discord in our YouTube.
Chris.
You can find it on our Twitter and our pinned tweet at Best of 3 Network. Make sure you follow us there. We appreciate you all. Thank you very much. And we will see you next week.